We live in an era of infinite access. We have every piece of human knowledge in our pockets, constant connection, and limitless choices. Yet the result is often a feeling of powerlessness as we drown in a flood of notifications, distractions, and emotional reactivity. Compare that to the year 1645. Inside a dark, isolated cavern called Ryogondo, a masterless samurai named Miyamoto Musashi sits completely alone. He is sick, aging, and dying. He never built an empire or commanded a massive army, but 7 days before his final breath, he picked up his notebook and wrote down 21 sentences. He called it the Dokudo, the way of walking alone. This 400-year-old manuscript provides the psychological infrastructure to withstand the same pressures that cause most people today to collapse. Musashi's principles bypassed traditional historians and landed directly in the hands of modern high performers. Today, his texts are studied inside the training rooms of elite military units across the globe. Former Navy SEALs and modern strategists have built entire operational frameworks directly on his 17th-century teachings. Musashi's primary tactic was to find an opponent's rhythm and then intentionally break it. In 2007, Apple executed this maneuver against the entire tech industry. By launching the iPhone, they didn't just introduce a product, they reset the timing of the market, forcing competitors into a panicked response for which they were entirely unprepared. What Musashi understood, and what these modern leaders replicate, is that having endless choices is a liability. True freedom is the extreme discipline required to master your own mind. Musashi forged his philosophy in an environment where a single mistake meant immediate death. Starting with a wooden stick at age 13, he fought 61 personal duels and won every single one. This record was put to the test on the island of Gonryujima. His opponent was Sasaki Kojiro, a master known for wielding a dangerously long katana. Musashi's strategy was entirely psychological. He intentionally arrived hours late, forcing Kojiro to wait. When Musashi finally rode up, he was calmly whittling a heavy wooden oar into a weapon. Frustrated and enraged, Kojiro drew his blade and threw his scabbard into the sea. Musashi saw the mental collapse immediately. He won the fight in a single strike. To Musashi, the sword was a secondary tool. His true weapon was absolute psychological dominance. The Dokudo is built upon a logic of radical detachment. Rules 3, 6, 7, and 9 explicitly outlaw regret, jealousy, taking sides, and holding grudges. The mechanics are practical. Your mind is tethered to unpredictable factors, market fluctuations, public opinion, and others' actions. You cannot control them. By severing emotional reactions to these external forces, you create an insulated internal state. You remain in control no matter what happens. Musashi pairs this detachment with a complete rejection of excess. Outside of combat, he was a minimalist painter, relying on a few precise brushstrokes with zero ink. He applied this same economy to his life, writing rules against chasing fine foods, or hoarding antiques, or seeking physical comfort. In a hyper-consumerist culture, desiring objects creates a point of vulnerability. True discipline means finding your satisfaction strictly in the work itself, not the rewards it brings. This philosophy culminates in a demand for ultimate self-reliance. Rule 19 states, "Respect the gods and Buddha, but do not rely on them." Living by this rule requires fully accepting the worst-case scenario. Whether you are launching a business or stepping into an arena, you must embrace the possibility of failure, bankruptcy, or even death without expecting an external savior. Once you look the worst possible outcome in the eye and accept it, you begin to operate without fear. You become untouchable by external pressure. Musashi wrote a much more famous strategy manual earlier in his life, called The Book of Five Rings, but the Dokudo is different. The earlier book taught you how to read the landscape and defeat others. His dying manuscript turns that focus entirely inward. It teaches you how to defeat yourself. Musashi wrote extensively about the empty space in combat, finding the moment a competitor stalls. Today, capturing that empty space means deliberately stripping away the toxic noise of modern life, creating the mental clarity required to move faster and think clearer than anyone else. Merely days after writing these 21 sentences in that damp cave, Musashi died. The physical monuments of his era have long since eroded. He left behind no empire to carry his name. What survived was an untethered, perfectly disciplined mind, captured on a few pieces of paper. When modern operators say discipline equals freedom, they are echoing a truth discovered 4 centuries ago by a wandering swordsman. To achieve true freedom in a chaotic world, you must be willing to strip everything else away and walk the path alone.